if I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home. Just so far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much left.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Around the Ropes with John and Jeff. Obviously, you can see Jeff is not here with me tonight. He's on assignment. But we are joined by a guy who I do appreciate because his Titan Championship Wrestling is a company that I've been watching on and off basically for the last couple of years, especially been at a lot of their shows. But I want to welcome back to the show the man behind it all, the one, the only, Billy Fetzke. Billy, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Man, thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be back here, man. I gotta say, I enjoyed the intro, man. The song was kicking ass. I was bopping to it, man. And so that was really cool, man. I like to see how things turned out. It was real good.
Thank you. That does mean a lot. But yeah, you guys have a busy weekend coming up.
And, we do, man.
And
we do.
Let's get to it because I know on Monday night we had Blocks on, and we were talking about the first show that's actually happening tomorrow night. Actually, I know it's called Urban Spirit, but whose idea was it to call the Blocks edition? Like, just kind of take us through that a little bit.
You know, that comes from us. That comes from the upper echelon here at Titan. You know, it comes from the team. It comes from everybody here. It takes that moment not to pay respects and homage to Blocks, you know, who is former military, you know, and what better way is through the American spirit. You know, it was still in the month of July, and, you know, I'm not done celebrating July 4th, as we could tell here in my background. But, you know, it's cool to be able to do that. And, you know, honor the guys here, as we've done in the past. We've done it for Steve Mack. We've done it for Anthony Gangone, Savage Attentions for PJ Savage. You know, and the list goes on. So we do that, and it was real cool to be able to, you know, for American spirit, and give respect to where respect is due, for Blocks, who is former military, especially in the month of July.
How impressed have you been? I know Blocks has been with you guys now for the last probably 3 years now.
Yeah, 3 years. You know, I've watched him grow. I've been a part of him growing. I've watched him just get that much better in ring and not, you know, promos and all that, but even as a worker, as a professional, we put that aside, even just as a human being, as a person, I've watched him grow. So I've been very proud, you know. Blocks has been loyal to me, just as I'm, you know, loyal to him. And, you know, we've had our ups and downs. You know, he was a former Deadly Sin, and, you know, there's disagreements there. But we've had our moments. But, again, it's still the respect factor. It's still somebody who helped, who's a very big part over the past 3 years of the growth and build of Titan Championship Wrestling. So you can't help but to pay respects for that. And that goes for Saturday night as well with the Fane event. You know, we were originally calling it the main event. And there you go, front and center, Michael Fane, the all-in-one, as him and I have really don't like each other, and we don't. He's a professional, he's here, and, you know, he got injured. And when he got injured, we kind of put everything to the side, and I said, you know, I'm not just gonna let, you know, I'm not gonna send you on your way. You know, if you're not working, you're not here, type thing. I said, you know what? Stay a part of the company. assist in the back, learn the ropes, and be a part of commentary and step in where roles are. And he's done a fine job. I mean, I haven't talked to him much. I'm not really at too many shows, right? But I hear he's doing a great job. So we're it was all out of love and respect and honor as well to turn the main event into the Fein event.
I totally agree. But now, I want to go back to blocks for a minute here. Being that he's now a single star and he's on his own, is it possible we could see blocks going for some singles gold either towards the end of this year or early next year?
I absolutely. I've never once discredited or thought that, hey, blocks couldn't go for gold. Um, is definitely one of the top contenders here on many levels. So I'd love to see it. There are times where I think Block holds himself back. I don't know if that makes sense. I just recently seen how he put out that, he's the last real Titan. Maybe that's the spark that he needs to step up. And you know, uh, there's been a lot of circumstantial stuff that prevented him to making that rise to the top. But hey, listen, me personally, I believe he has it in him.
Now, another guy who we just recently saw make a comeback is Blaze Haram, who he was not with you guys for a while, and I think the last Seaside Heights show that you guys did in June, he finally made his return. Now, what was it like with him coming back into the fold now?
I mean, phenomenal. He's a phenomenal specimen from top to bottom. A pro in the ring and a pro outside the ring. Um, he does have the persona. He's a part of the SP family, the SP Anderson family. But he's smart. Hey, listen, you got to call it for what it is. He's smart. He pick and chooses. SP pick and chooses when he brings him in.
Well,
So,
no, go ahead.
and which ultimately led to the demise between SP and Jeff Noyes. So, I'm sure SP is brilliant as he is, and I say that respectfully. I'm sure he'll be able to put his own family back in order.
Well, let me ask you this now. Obviously, we saw what happened at the last show. They kind of turned their back on Jeff. Jeff put out a video, I think it was a couple days ago, basically saying how SP is now stalking. Do you think it's going to take them to have a sit down, or what do you think it's going to take for them to finally, you know, bring them back on the same page?
I don't, you know, I don't know. Like, so there's so many moving parts here at Titan. There's so many, things to keep up with. I kind of get it from the team. They'll relay back to me, hey, this is what's transpiring. I mean, if I've got to step in, I will. We got the SV family. We've got the Tarjanian talent agency. We have the Devout. We got the Titans here. So there's a lot. Um, Again, I've been focusing on the business. So my team will tell me as they progress. But I mean, hopefully, I don't have to intervene. But I mean, could they have a sit down conversation? Possibly. But who knows?
And you bring up the Devout. Yes, I have a lot of experience with them. As we saw at the show last August. When,
They've grown substantially. They just recruited a new member in Justin Vane. So you've seen a different, formerly Justin Bon Jovi. So he now calls himself Justin Vane. And and watching the Devout, I mean, the stronger they are. Amity is Goddess's champion. Joey Conway is the Mob 5 American champion. Anthony Gangone is the two-time, first ever in Titans history, two-time heavyweight champion. So, I mean, and I understand from what I'm gathering is Justin Vane will has his sights set on that lightweight title.
There's quite a few people I think who can go for that lightweight title, but
Oh, absolutely.
I think obviously Anthony Gangone, we've had him on the show before, and I've said this before. I feel like a lot of the backbone to what we're seeing now with Titan is with Anthony Gangone. There's a reason why as you said before, he's the first two-time champion, heavyweight champion. The
There,
guy
there.
matches.
This is a man, and I've known Anthony Gangone for a long time. This is a man that those huge companies with those millions of dollars of budgets and super sets and thousands of people in the crowds, they are missing out. He should be on TV. I've said that. I've always said that. He is without a doubt 100%. Uh, he bleeds you know, that professionalism. He is a smart man. At the same time, he's a mastermind. That's a chess player. He knows when he's got to be evil. He knows when he's got to be a pro. He, but I'm telling you, man, there's plenty of fuel in that tank.
And I was going to say, with him, I know him and I have had our disagreements over the last year or so for various reasons. But the one thing I will always say about him is when he was walking me through if fans don't remember, when you guys were at Seaside Heights last August, I got asked to graciously be the one to do the ring introduction for the DeVal.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, I don't remember if it was something that got screwed up, and Anthony Gangone ended up applying the mandible claw. Just to pull back the curtain for a second, that was the first time I was ever in a ring in that capacity. And working with somebody like Anthony, I felt incredibly safe because he told me exactly what to do, and I applaud him for that. And I've always said, like I said, him and I may have had our disagreements, but he walked me through my first in-ring experience. So I will always be grateful for that with him.
That's awesome. It really is. Hey, there's a lot of reasons to be grateful for Anthony Gangone. It really is. And any company that does, have him on his roster, and then to be able to have him at will is you're very lucky people.
Now, let me ask you this, though. Obviously, we know right now he is your current heavyweight champion. Is there somebody on the roster now that you think could potentially become a challenge for him for that title?
Oh, there's plenty. But see, this is where that devout comes into play. Because I don't think the devout will allow it. I don't think Anthony Gangone will allow it. I think his ego, he's constantly pushing these guys' faces to step up. He's constantly, who's got the passion, who's got the ability, who's got what it takes to take it off of him. But my opinion is there's absolutely many. So, he's got and I guess that comes from being with the devout or being the leader of the devout, stemming from Aaron Roxas, walking away. I believe there's going to be that moment where Anthony Gangone may slip, and then the kingdom comes crushing down.
Well, that's always
got to be careful.
No, I completely agree. But we've always seen that, though, in pro wrestling. You have a group that becomes so powerful that it's that one slip up that all of a sudden becomes the downfall. And I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon because you said it before. Between Amity LeVay holding the Goddess title, Joey Conway holds the MoFi TV title. They have 3 out of 4 of the biggest single titles in Titan right now. So I don't think it's going to happen for a while, but again, never say never when it comes to this crazy sport. That's the best way I can say it.
Yeah, you never. You of course you never say never, right? And there's got to be more debuts through the remainder of what's left of this year. So you never know who will come in and they're hungry. They want to make a name for themselves at Titan. Uh, they want to prove a point and prove themselves. So it could be just it could be guys here. It could be guys who are coming in, and that makes it makes a world of difference, especially when somebody has something to prove. Somebody's got to prove a point. So
I
it changes the dynamic. So I think Anthony Gango needs to focus just a little bit more on the on that championship rather than focus on ruling the world.
I completely I get what you're saying, but obviously just want to go over one more time. Obviously, you guys have the Ocean County Fair Friday and Saturday. Now, Billy, how does it work as far as the fans? If fans have tickets for the fair, the show is included in that, or is that a separate?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely. So just like any fair, you pay to get it, you pay your entrance to get in. It's not a lot. I believe it's like what $10 to get in. You're you take part of everything that's there, as well as the event for Titan on Friday and Saturday night. So that's included. And there's no additional tickets, no charge. There was no ticket links that were up or anything else like that. So if you're there and you're interested on what Titan's all about, come down, meet the guys and meet the company and watch two great events, great matches going to happen.
again, guys, just want to reiterate what we have coming up, what Titan has coming up Friday night at the Ocean County Fair. American Spirit meet and greet is at 6, bell time's at 7. It's the box edition. Then Saturday, you have the Fane event. Again, bell time, meet and greet is at 6, bell time's at 7. These are two events you're not going to want to miss. But, Billy, that's not the only stuff you have coming up because you guys just announced, I think it was a couple days ago, actually, or earlier today even. You guys are returning to Seaside Heights, Saturday, August 23rd.
It's so exciting, the return back to the boardwalk. So many people love that show. So many roster guys here love performing for those on the boardwalk. We did it twice last year. We're doing it twice again this year. This year we opened up the season with the Titan event, and now we're closing the season with the Titan event. Um, yeah, I mean, just as always, an incredible showing. What a great time. Um, these guys really show themselves out there, and it's uh, it's cool to be back once again on the Seaside Boardwalk. So
It's funny, that we're talking about closing that. I feel like summer just started, and we're already about talking about closing that summer already.
yeah, I mean, look, we've got Titan does have a hectic schedule. We looked at the calendar, and when we went over the calendar, and this was only maybe a couple of weeks ago, we were floored of exactly what between Titan and between Titan Rentals has. There's a lot. There's a lot upcoming. Um, Naturally, some things may shift around. I mean, unfortunately, the things in a business, I've got to do that. The But I mean, there's more. I mean, there's more. We're gonna be seeing another show pop out very soon. And that's just into August. It's still September and October, November.
Which we're going to get to November in a second here because
But
obviously,
hey, November, that ends this year, and
exactly. Well, let me ask you this though. You said before, you've done Seaside Heights twice last year, and now you're doing it twice this year. Is it safe to say that the Seaside Heights show are going to become almost like a staple of Titan going further?
yeah, as we all would love to see that, right? We all would. And let's go. Let's focus on um, let's focus on today rather than tomorrow. I think that's a better direction. Um, I think for the team and the roster and the Titan Nation, the Titan fans' sake, is to focus on um, this upcoming events in Seaside and not focus on next year. Um, I think if we make that jump, there's a lot of I'd hate to not meet expectations.
No, I remember when I came down for the show last year, and that was actually my first time ever down at Seaside Heights. And just to be down there for that show was an experience. And I remember the two things I'll never forget from that show, obviously, was what happened with me. But obviously, we know the main event was Frankie Picard taking on then champion PJ Savage. And they did a spot, the outside, and actually by the fans, where PJ suplexed Frankie onto the boardwalk. And
What a
it got,
moment, right?
yeah, that was one moment I'll never forget. Just being down there. And especially, we all know that area became famous because of the show Jersey Shore. So one of the things I had to do when I was after I left there was I actually had to go find the house where they stayed. I actually ended up finding it, not because my nav helped, but I looked and I said, "Oh, look, it's right there." But guys, if you get the opportunity, I definitely recommend going down to Seaside Heights. It's a fantastic show. The atmosphere being down there is insane. But Billy, you mentioned November, and I want to bring that up because we got the announcement of Mount Olympus, which is Titan's biggest event of the year. Now, obviously, we see here doors open at 5, bell times at 6. For somebody who's watching this, either now or later on, if they're not familiar, can you just walk them through exactly what Mount Olympus is and what it entails?
Mount Olympus, it's it's unpredictable. All right? And the reason why I'm saying it's unpredictable because I'm known to say, "Hey, it's 20 men, it's 30 men," and it ends up being 40. Right? I've always pushed the envelope whether I can or not, and so it's really unpredictable. It is a Royal Rumble esque style match. Each year has been something different as far as whether it was for the title, whether it was the title defended, or whether it was who was going to be who climbed the mountain, who climbed that for that Mount Olympus, and it's always been the biggest show here. It's always been so unpredictable. There's been shocking stuff that has happened in Mount Olympus. Um, and it's the only one time a year that Titan really puts the Rumble together. And Mount Olympus is always uh, started by May. We start by May and start getting Mount Olympus in order. So it takes, a half a year to get that going. But this will be probably the biggest and the most special Mount Olympus that we've gone through so far, which, by the way, has an illustrious history for Mount Olympus. So many great stars have been in Mount Olympus, debuted in Mount Olympus. In fact, Blocks himself has debuted in Mount Olympus. So, there's so many people that made a name for themselves. Uh, and it is it's cool to see how far over the past 5 years how Mount Olympus has grown, and it means the world. I mean, we're going into the Berkeley Little League where we just had Monsoon, the 5th year anniversary. So we began our 2025 journey with the Titan Nation in the Berkeley Little League, and we are going to end the 2025 journey in the Berkeley Little League. So it's quite poetic. So we're looking forward to it.
and definitely, guys, you're not going to want to miss any of the events that we were talking about. Obviously, I'll run through them again one more time. You have American Spirit, the Blocks Edition, happening tomorrow night, actually, Friday, July 11th, in Ocean County, Ocean City, New Jersey. Meet and greet is at 6. Bell time's at 7. Then Saturday, you have the Fein event. I was about to say the main event. Same area, same bell time. Don't want to miss it. Then August 23rd, Titan Championship Wrestling returns to Seaside Heights for Seaside Showdown 4. And then, as we mentioned before, Mount Olympus returns to the Berkeley Little League complex on Saturday, November 15th. Guys, you're not going to miss any of these events. They are. If you've never been to a Titan show, and I can say as I've been to quite a few of them already, they're an experience. You never know who's going to show up. You never know what surprises they're going to have. But to be at those shows is incredible. I mean, we saw it. I think it was last year's Mount Olympus or 2 years ago Mount Olympus, where Jeff Noyes came back, if I remember correctly, and it was his first appearance back in the ring in a number of years.
And here he is, Funhouse Heavyweight Champion. You know,
Yeah, and
but just
then
not just Titan, and I appreciate it. I really do. But I also want to let everybody know, check out the Rising Star event out in New York, right? I would definitely want to push that. I believe that's July 12th. The women's show Rising Star, their debut event. That's going to be an awesome event. A lot of work has been put into that. So if you're in that Long Island area, if you like women wrestling, I think this is the show to go out to see. It is really cool. And then July 19th, you got Raymond's, which is Respect the Craft. They got their show in Richfield Park. He's got a excellent show going on. I'm doing my best actually to be there, and I haven't been to somebody else's show in 5 years. So yeah, so I'm doing everything I possibly can to be there. To show that support. So, I mean, we're looking forward to those two events as well. Um, and you're going to see a lot more uh, throughout the remainder of this year of different things we're partaking in, and it's the level of excitement building up to Mount Olympus, and I think to end the year on that high, and I think to go out on that high with the head held high and with the respect that is Mount Olympus. I think that's an epic thing.
I definitely agree. And it's funny you bring up the women, and obviously we mentioned before, Emily Lay is your current Goddess Women's Champion. Is there any update as far as Goddess coming back next year, or is there any update with that?
I think the full focus more so than because again Titan has many brands, right? It does. It has many brands. I think the focus right now is set solely on Titan. There has been conversations. Naturally, there has been talks. There's been talks with other promoters as well, to even co-brand. Um, so those are always great conversations. But it always boils back to you know keeping the focus on Titan. If we drift focus, like when we solely put all our focuses in on the Titan, we even took our social medias, which we've announced. We broke 1.1 million views on a quarter in social media, which was amazing. I mean, we were super excited, and we broke a milestone for us, and we wanted to achieve that 2 million views, right? That was the ultimate goal. If we sway off of that and we put our attentions to different brands at the moment, right?
Mhm.
At the current moment, if we do that, I think that takes that ability to grow, and it makes it a little harder because then you have multiple brands to focus on. But listen, I loved every fact of being involved in Goddess. I loved every fact of being a part of Chosen and stuff like that. I was able um, to do that, which is really awesome. But I think the true focus is of Titan. So.
I definitely agree. And Billy, last thing I want to bring up, and again, guys, before we actually get to the last part, again, I just want to recap once again the events coming up. American Spirit Blocks Edition tomorrow night. Then you got the Fane event. And if people want to know, we do have a Ocean County Fair Friday and Saturday, like we mentioned before. August 23rd, Titan Championship Wrestling returns to Seaside Heights for Seaside Showdown 4. And it all finishes up at Mount Olympus on Saturday, November 15th. But Billy, last thing I want to get to is sort of something that you and I were talking about offline, and that's with the sort of announcement, I guess if you want to call it that, of Around the Ropes covering Titan again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's an awesome thing. I'm excited about it. And again, once again, I'm appreciative. I think this is the 18th time. So I'm only playing, but I mean, I'm always appreciative. I mean, I'm always appreciative of the support, John. I'm always appreciative, especially when you're there. I mean, that's a great thing. Um, I'm also appreciative of just being a fan, as your friend Jeff called me. Um, but I think that was cool, and I appreciate obviously you being back at Titan, and I think for I think there's always room to grow, and there's always room to grow together. There's always room to, you know, make things as we go along better, and it's cool.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I know it's been a couple of times doing this, but honestly, at this point, with how everything is going with the show, Titan is one of those companies I definitely, if I can get some things in order and take care of some medical stuff, I'm going to make this announcement now. If I can get some medical stuff taken care of and fixed, then I will do my best to be down there for the Seaside Heights show.
Awesome, man. I look forward to it.
And it'll be nice not to be going into the ring this time and actually just being a fan and watching.
Yeah, stay out of that because the last time that happened, it wasn't a good outcome for you.
No, I got to get it.
I think your girlfriend will kick your ass.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Especially when she told me that day, if she was there, she would be screaming her head off. I was like, yeah, that's kind of the issue there. But like I said, guys, catch Titan Championship Wrestling wherever you can. Go check them out on all their social medias. And obviously, guys, tune in to Around the Ropes because you'll see a lot more coverage of all these Titan events as we get closer to them. And who knows from Titan? Who knows who from Titan will be next on the show? So you have to wait and see. Again, Billy, thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
It means a lot. But guys, for Billy Fetzke and for Titan Championship Wrestling, I'm John. This has been Around the Ropes with John and Jeff. We got one more interview for you guys lined up for tonight. AJ Stevens from One Up Wrestling. So you're not going to want to miss that. Again, guys, if you missed any of the past interviews we've done or this interview, go back to our YouTube page, our Facebook page, or anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, iHeart, you name it, we're there. But guys, we're out of here. We'll catch you guys next time.